welcome back. I am so excited to have you guys here. I don't have on my school sweatshirt today, but I have on this cool school bus yellow t-shirt that says Midway Airlines. They were an airline, a tiny little airline that operated out of Midway Airport in Chicago, Illinois, until like the early 2000s when Southwest Airlines bought them up. But still a cool t-shirt, still school bus yellow, so we're doing great. So excited to have you guys here. This video is actually on a concept from last week, but we know that some of you struggled with it, so we just wanted to go over it. We are going to be talking about adding and subtracting decimals, which seems like it might be an easy topic, but when you get into it, it's actually a little bit more complicated and there's some weird things that you have to remember. So yeah, let's get into it and clear all that stuff up. Okay, so one of the biggest differences between adding and subtracting whole numbers and adding and subtracting numbers with decimals is that when you're adding and subtracting whole numbers, the smallest place value that you are always going to have, the last number that you're always going to have, is going to be the ones place. And so that means that it's really easy to line up your place values because you know, okay, the last number is the ones place. I just have all of my numbers starting here and they go over like that. So here I have the same two problems. In this one, I lined things up how you would normally line up an addition problem with putting my last digit of the two numbers lining up and then putting everything else kind of after that. Here, however, I lined it up so that my decimal places are in the same row, and therefore this is both the ones place, this is the ones place, this is the tenths place, this is the tenths place, which is how we want to add and subtract our numbers. Like here, we have the ones place above the tenths place, and then the tenths place above the hundredths place, and that just won't work. That's not how numbers work. That's not how adding and subtracting works. And a lot of times we forget about that because with whole numbers, it's so easy that we don't even have to think about like, okay, am I lining up the numbers in the ones place? Am I lining up the numbers in the tenths place? Because we just don't have to think about it. But when we start dealing with decimals, it becomes a thing that we have to deal with. So this guy over here, this is not what we want to do when we are adding and subtracting decimals. That's the easiest way to get the problem wrong. This one over here though, this is what we want to do. We've lined up our decimals and that means that everything else is in the right place value. Another thing that you want to be thinking about is in numbers that have decimals, really after the last digit, the last like represented digit, there is an endless number of zeros after it. And we don't really have to worry about them or think about them much because they don't add any value. But when you start adding and subtracting numbers that include decimals, especially subtracting, you have to remember that those are there because it helps you with lining everything up and making sure that everything has a partner. We'll talk about this more when we get to subtracting, but for right now, we're just going to add it when we're doing addition problems because it's a good, helpful habit to get into. So for instance, here the one digit in this number is in the tenths place and it has a partner in the tenths place here. The number in the hundredths place has a partner with this number in the hundredths place here. But when we get to the thousandths place, this 3 doesn't have a partner here, so we're going to add that in. Once we make sure that the decimal points are lined up, meaning that all of our place values are lined up, and that every place value has a partner, it just becomes a regular addition problem. So 0 plus 3 is 3, 6 plus 2 is 8, 7 plus 1 is also 8, 4 plus 3 is 7, and we just carry down our decimal point and put it right where it was in the original numbers. And then that's kind of it, then you're done. Okay, so now if we move these same concepts over to a subtraction problem, that's what we're gonna do over here. I already have my decimal points lined up, so that means that everything is in the correct place value. But now if you notice, this 4 here doesn't have a partner, and that's really important in subtraction problems because I don't have anything to subtract this 4 from. So that's why adding this 0 becomes super important, especially in subtraction problems. So now that I have this 0, I can do 0 minus 4. We know that that doesn't super work, so I have to borrow from here, make this a 6. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 gives us 6. 6 minus 2 gives us 4. bring down my decimal point, and then 9 minus 6 equals 3. And then that's our answer. So that's why having those extra zeros becomes super duper important, especially in subtraction problems. But yeah, so that's kind of the general gist on adding and subtracting decimal numbers. The two most important things are making sure that your decimal points are lined up and making sure that you're adding in those extra zeros so that every digit has a partner. Past that, it's just a normal addition and subtraction problem, and remember to carry down your decimal and you'll be great. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. There should be some more coming later in the week to help with some other concepts that we had trouble with last week and to kind of assist you in the Zern stuff that you're doing this week. But I'm so proud of all of the hard work you guys are doing. You're doing incredible, and we are also proud of you. If you need help with anything, feel free to email me or Mr. Howells or Mr. Cole or Miss Fry, depending on what you need help in. But stay safe, wash your hands, and I hope that you guys are all having a great week. See you later, bye!